Hi, thanks for joining me. As you know, everything has an opposite. So we have positive, negative, or happy, sad, male, female, yin, yang. There's always an opposite. So if you think of it like a stick, and on one end of the stick is flow, your life is flowing, everything is going really good, and on the other end, there is contrast. We have to have them both, and we go through periods of time where they are both very prevalent in our life, but this one we don't like. So when we're in flow, we're motivated, we're ready to start something, our ideas are coming into fruition, everything feels like I'm on the right track and I'm getting things moving. The ego is happy when things are in flow, because when you can see things around you that are starting to unfold and plans that you've had for a while starting to happen, your ego is happy because things are going your way, and the ego is always happy when things are going your way. But it doesn't seem to last. You can get into a phase where you're in flow and everything is going well, but then contrast shows up. It always shows up. And this is what our ego doesn't like, because when we're in contrast, we can start losing motivation, losing a feeling of even our self-worth, like this isn't happening, I'm on the right. You start doing the negative talk. A lot of negative talk happens when you're in this phase, because you're trying to get back to this, because it's not happening in your reality. It's that starts that downward spiral of thinking, the way of thinking. Like when it's not going your own way, you do get negative thinking. But this phase is where we start to change ideas, because when life is just going along really, really easily and it's just flowing all the time, you don't push yourself. You just get into the comfort zone and everything's just going along. It's like a routine. You're in a routine. You're comfortable with the people around you. You're comfortable with what you've created, but you don't push yourself to do something that may be fearful, or you don't push yourself to go and try something that you would know would be beneficial for you, or you could learn from it. So this area, when you're in contrast, is pushing that. If you suddenly found that you'd lost your job and you had no money coming in, you would find ways to make money. You would look at every alternative way. If it was borrowing it from a friend, if it was borrowing it from a bank, if it was going to get social security aid, if it was asking relatives for help, if you were applying for 50 jobs, you will do anything you possibly can to rectify a situation, because you're in contrast. You're pushed to do that. When you're in flow and everything's just going along well, you don't really push yourself to that point. So it's valuable. But the ego doesn't like being there, but it is a valuable place to be in. When you get into this space of contrast and nothing's really going your way, and you're trying to force things to happen, that can also be when it actually gets heavier and heavier, and you can't get here. When you're in that space, it's so hard to get back into flow, into that just letting go and surrendering. It's so hard to get there, because you're trying to solve problems, but if you're forcing one particular direction, if you just keep forcing, I need to go this way, I need to go this way, I need to go this way, but you're supposed to be over here, but you're focused on I'm going this way, and there's a whole opportunity over here, but all you can see is this way, that ends up being like resistance. It just stops you. It stops you from getting over to here. And I know myself in the past, when I have really, really focused on one particular thing, it never came. It never came. And then you hear people saying, you can manifest anything you like. And you're sitting there going, no, you can't, because if you could, I'd have it. It's just what you're trying to manifest is not right for you. Your ego might think it's right for you, but your higher self knows that there's something better. And that's where the surrendering comes in. And that's such a hard thing to do. To surrender and go, rather than trying to, you've come up with solutions like I could do this and I could do this. But why don't you ask the universe, where do you want me? Like, where do you want me? Because that's a kind of form of surrendering where you're just saying, okay, I'm available to whatever's going to show up. I'll have a go at whatever's going to show up. As scary as it is, I'll have a go at it. That's surrendering. Whereas when you're over here, you're more likely to be, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it that way. It's very negative. It's a negative space to be in. So you want to be over back here in the flow energy, because in the flow energy, you're agreeing to, okay, I'll have a go. Whatever shows up, I'll have a go. It might just be right for me, without closing doors before you even see things. And oh, I just lost my train of thought then, what I was going to say about flow. Abraham Hicks has a really good analogy with this, which is, if you imagine that you're in a stream and you're swimming upstream and the water keeps pushing you back, but you think upstream is where you need to be. That's what is in your mind. You think, I have to be there. So you keep swimming upstream and the water keeps pushing you back, and it's as you go 3 strokes forward and that water keeps pushing you back again, and you're just never getting there. You can see it and you want to be there, but you can't get there because you're swimming against the flow. That's a contrast. You're swimming against flow. The fear in letting go is, if I let go and let the current take me, the current may take me over a waterfall and kill me. The current may take me to a place that I don't want to be. That's the fear of that letting go of control. But if you do let go and you just go with the flow, let the water take you, it will take you where you're meant to be. And this is where our ego struggles, because our ego decides, I'm going to control this situation and I want it to look this way. Because if I let go and I go with wherever the universe takes me, my ego might not like that. That's where the biggest problem comes. Because it's like, but that's not what I want. That's not what I had figured out in my head. And I have learned myself in the past, the minute I've let go and just gone with the flow, and people have gone away from me, situations have gone away from me. At the time, it may have hurt, but on reflection, it was the best thing that could have ever happened, because they were just holding me back. They were holding me down, holding me back, keeping me in that negative space, and I could not see it until I was out of it. That's what the surrendering and letting go is. I find if I'm in contrast and I don't like it, I'll just say to myself, I'm just in contrast at the moment. I'm in a space at the moment where things aren't meant to be moving. I'm in a space where I'm meant to just review what I'm doing in life. And if I'm in it for too long, usually it's a short period of time. It can be like a week. I could be in a week, or I could be a couple of months in contrast. The way that I've found to get out of it is using EFT tapping. If I get into a contrast and it's a bit negative and I'm talking down to myself and, oh, life's not fair and it's not going my way and I can't make this happen, if I'm in that state of talking, EFT tapping will get me out of that quite quickly, because tapping on my points will move it through my body and shift that down talk. And doing things, just accepting things. So if I had a day if I've got a whole week where nobody's bought any readings at all and I have no income coming in, if I panic and I start going, oh my God, there's no money, I can't pay the bills. If I get into that panic state, it gets worse. It gets so bad that I still don't get any more readings. And then the people that do contact me just want free stuff. So I'm still not getting paid. The minute I get into a panic and I'm desperate. If I get into a desperate kind of energy, it gets worse. It doesn't save me, it just gets worse. If I'm in contrast and no one's buying any readings, I will say, oh, great, this is a great day. I can go out and do some gardening, go out and go for a walk. Oh, I can go and do some stuff that I wanted to get done for ages. When I shift into that, great, I can go and do something else, I get bombarded with readings. It instantly breaks that cycle. But if I'm in a desperate place, it won't work. And that's a really, really hard thing to reprogram your mind, because your mind wants to go into desperation. Your mind wants to go into panic. So you've kind of got to go, okay, well, that's the way it has to be. This is just the way it is. I'm just going to go and do some other things. The minute I decide I'm going to go do other things, people buy readings. So that's the flow and the contrast, and it's kind of like accepting that contrast happens. It's like waking up one day and going, oh gosh, I'm in a shit mood today. Just be okay with that. Okay, I'm in a shit mood today. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to keep to myself, because tomorrow it'll be different. For some weird reason, our brains think if we're in a specific situation, it's going to be like that for the rest of our lives. It's not. It constantly changes. It's just going to be for a short period of time, and then it will change again. So like Eckhart Tolle talks about just being now, just right at this moment. That's all you've got. Past already happened. Future hasn't even showed up yet. You've only got this very moment. So however you're feeling in this very moment is just for this moment. Later on today, you might feel different. Tomorrow, you might feel different. That doesn't matter. You just accept what is happening in the moment, and it's just liberating. It's very freeing to just like throw things back and go, okay, it's the way it's going to be. It changes when you can do that surrendering, when you can give up.